What's going on, guys? Paul, Country Strong Outdoors. Got old Tucker with me, riding shotgun. We're on our way to meet up with Tony Painter and gonna hunt in Clinton, South Carolina. Tony has been in there scouting it and got several deer coming into to a food plot there. And so we're going after a meat deer. We're not worried about horns this evening. We're not. If horns come in there, we'll try to take the horns out. But we're just looking for meat. So really hoping for a big old fat doe would be a really great deer to get. So that's what we're thinking about. That's what we're looking for. Well, that's what we're doing. That's where we're headed, and that's what we got going on this evening. It's December the 21st, getting real close to Christmas. Weather's getting cold. We've had some rain, but it's really beautiful right now. I'm hoping it's going to stay that way, and I believe it will. I believe we'll be able to get the hunt in. And I was going to do it yesterday, but it got too rainy for us, and so we decided to wait till this evening to do it. And looks like the weather's going to be remarkable. So I'm very excited, looking forward to the hunt. And guys, we've got a little bit more driving to do. When we get over to Tony's, we'll get back with you. Y'all hang in there. Don't miss this one, man. It's going to be a good one. Welcome back, guys, to Country Strong Outdoors. Today I am so excited. We have been waiting and waiting on the rain, the wind, for everything to be perfect. I got a spot down here on my property that the deer have been coming into this food plot, and me and Paul's been trying to line up to get down here on this spot, and it's finally going to work out today. So hang with us. I think we got something good coming. I was so excited for this hunt. I noticed in this your ranging stuff.
Yeah. Even though I'm pretty good at ranging, we had worked so hard with me coming in here and watching these deer come in, and it was as close to a guarantee, I guess you would say, that the deer were going to come in, and I just wanted to make sure that everything went perfect.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
I was super excited, and you know, do you normally do that even on every hunt when you get bow hunt? Do you normally go ahead and range things like that?
well, I do. In this case, this being my property, I was, very familiar with. I've hunted this right here many times.
I got you.
But excuse me, anytime I hunt somewhere, I always range. I don't typically just range the deer when they come in. I pick out landmarks,
Yeah, I think that's
and then
smart
from there, I'm able to adjust.
because I remember during the hunt, you told me you had ranged that log, so that'll come into play in a minute, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it actually worked out perfect because she was, just this side of that log, and I had ranged it. So, the range wasn't a factor in my mind whatsoever. I
That's
knew
right.
I had it down.
And that adds so much confidence to your shot.
It sure does.
Now
Absolutely.
right here, just before this scene right here, you saw those deer coming up the hill.
I did. I caught a glimpse of one coming up, and, of course, I motioned to you and I said, I see one. And it seemed like it took those deer forever.
It
But
did.
instead of coming up the way they normally did, they come out straight up that ridge.
Yeah, and
And
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sitting there after so long, I'm thinking, okay, well, the deer's left because I could not see the deer whatsoever.
Yeah, and I couldn't see them. You saw them come up, then I couldn't see them. Then I saw this one coming, and you couldn't see it.
At that point right there, I never knew that deer was right there.
And
Yes.
I was trying to let you know it was coming, and then what you saw it after it finally come out onto the road bed.
Yep, once it come out, I finally saw it.
And I was trying to determine if it was just a little doe or a button buck. I never really completely figured it out. I first thought, yeah, that's a button buck, and then I thought, no, that's a little doe. But we both knew it was a small deer.
Oh yeah, we knew it was a small one, and just through my experiences hunting back there, there's generally anywhere from just on average 4 to 7 does that come into this spot.
Wow.
So
Well, they sure
I
did that
was,
night.
yeah,
They
they
sure
did.
did.
How many were there? Oh, because there was still deer that I didn't see that you saw.
Yeah, I think there were 6 out there completely, and then there was more coming. I saw one more come through that same gap that they had all came through, and then I saw more coming. I'm really not sure. I would say at least 7 or 8 was there.
Right? Yeah. I did see the deer turn around and look, and
Yeah.
they had their ears up, so I was pretty sure there was more deer coming, but I never saw them.
Yeah, and normally we might wait, knowing there's more deer coming, but in this instance, they kind of caught our hand. We had to do what we had to do.
Yeah, well, that's right, and I mean, naturally, I would have taken a buck had he had come in,
Sure.
but I mean, as many times as I've hunted, I hardly ever see a buck in the evening in this spot.
What about that?
So, I know at least in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, I just want a big fat doe.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what we were after. Big old nanny. And man, I tell you what, those things were beautiful coming in there.
Oh, yes, because they were right in front of, I mean, what, maybe 10 yards?
Yeah, yeah. That they were just stretched out right there, about 10, 15 yards from us, and but when the bigger does came in, they were just lucky as they could be because they got trees right in between you and them.
Yes, sir.
Now
And
this deer
then,
right here is one that I'm sure you would have taken, but she never
offered any shot whatsoever?
Well, the funny thing is even though we were about 5 or 6 foot apart,
Yeah,
my view and your view was totally different.
that's right. And I
Um,
think that is an amazing thing that the tree choice. In from my perspective, like we say, 5 6 foot apart, I had a clean shot on a lot of those deer.
yeah, and see,
Your
you
perspective,
can
you did.
see the little trees, but from your vantage is not the same view I had.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And one of those does right there, I fully intended on shooting,
Yeah,
but I could not shoot, through those limbs.
that's right.
And just before this, you noticed where I stood up.
Uh huh.
Well, I stood up trying to get a better view, to see if, I would get a clear shot.
Oh yeah.
But there was a tree right in front of me, just on the other side that you can't see. And I was afraid when I pulled the trigger that the limb might smack the tree.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
So
Well,
I went ahead and sat back down because I didn't want to take that chance.
there you go. Well, this doe that we're looking at right now, that's the one that was so cautious. She
Yeah,
was, I don't know what she had smelled or what, I don't know what, but she was so cautious.
and big does are the same as bucks.
Oh
They
yeah,
learn by experience. So
yeah.
something tipped her off, and
Something tipped her
she
off. I
didn't
don't
like it.
know. I don't know what it was, but man, but that wind was swirling so bad that evening. It wasn't supposed to, but I guess because of that weather moving, that front and all moving through, it was swirling so bad. I think if it hadn't been for that nose jammer, I think we'd have been busted all the way around.
Oh, there's no doubt because we both sprayed down with nose jammer, and none of the other deer ever showed any indication
Huh.
that they was alerted about anything.
Not one bit whatsoever. And that big doe, the one that was so nervous as like a cat. Now you see that doe right there, that big doe. You could have killed that deer if you'd been in my tree.
Yeah, oh yeah. Going back and watching this video, I'm sitting there like, wow, we should have been in separate,
Separate
the
tree. That's right.
opposite tree.
Opposite tree. But made that big loop and she still came in.
That's right.
Yeah.
She
I mean,
did.
it wasn't like she was out of here. No, thank goodness she settled down and come on in on the edge of the food plot there.
Matter of fact, that's her right there.
That's her right there. Mm-hmm.
And she was pretty much facing me, so I didn't have a shot. I had a clear shot, but I didn't want to shoot her straight on.
That's right.
And, just from watching these deer, they turn all the time. So
That's right.
I'm sitting here thinking just any minute she's going to turn.
That's right. And then then this happened. And who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just out of the blue.
out of the blue.
Now we are sitting right beside a highway.
That's right.
But there was no kind of unusual noise, at least that I detected.
Nothing I heard.
I have no idea what spooked those deer.
I don't either. And that little deer, whatever it is, it never left. It never went anywhere.
He stayed right there.
Right there. And I could still, to the left of him, I could see another deer, another doe that had just ran over there and stopped. Or either it ran over there and stopped, or it was one that hadn't made it over there yet, but I could see one standing over to the left. I didn't get it on camera. But those deer took off like a shot.
Yeah. But the good thing is they didn't go far.
That's right. That's right. Luckily this happened. And when that deer come walking out, you kind of looked at me and I nodded, and we both were on the same page. We knew what was fixing to happen.
Yeah, that was that old the doe that was so wary.
Yeah.
And if you notice, again, going back to our different trees in the view, the tree that you see covering her hind end, from, if you drew a line straight up and down right behind her front leg, I had about 3 inches.
Oh, wow.
And see, you've got like a wide open.
I do. From my view, it is completely wide open. But she was just tore up, man. She was stomping, and as you can see, she was nervous.
She knew something was going on. Of course, at that point, I had the bead on her.
And there went the shot.
Yep.
You know, I was a little worried about the rest you had there, but it actually was a pretty decent rest, wasn't it?
Oh, I was solid. I had my elbow on that piece going around on my stand.
Yeah.
So I was solid.
You know, and I saw that lighted knock, and from where I was at, man, from my view, looking through that camera and having it zoomed in on her, man, it looked so sweet. That lighted knot looked like it went in behind that shoulder, just beautiful.
Well, I know I don't look all that excited right here, but man, I was so fired up because, we had worked so hard to line this hunt up anyway, because of your job, and just then it would be raining or the wind was wrong. And, and then all of a sudden it's like it all just came together. And man, I was so excited.
Yeah, I was too. I was pumped up. And, that was an awesome shot, and I knew it was an awesome shot, awesome hunt, awesome shot, and I was like, man, you just can't get no better than that.
No, that's right.
But again, the little deer, he's just still standing there. It never left.
Exactly, he is still there.
He's right there, and that, of course, the big doe that was further around to the left was still there, and. So you decided you might want to go ahead and reload. I tell you what, that thing's so quiet. That crossbow's so quiet that it just didn't make any racket. To me, it just didn't sound like it made hardly any racket at all.
No, that's right. And I tried to crank that crossbow without using the clicker, which is actually like a safety. So if the handle slips out of your hand,
it can't kind of free fly.
Being as I knew they were still deer out there, and I thought, well, we might get a shot at another one.
Yeah.
I was trying to crank it slow, but I backed off on it, and I said, no, let me use that clicker. And I don't know, in my mind sitting there, I was like, it ain't too bad, but hearing it on video, it's loud.
I was so excited. I could have cared less if another 10 point had walked out. That would have probably wouldn't have got me no more excited.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I'm gonna tell you, in my mind, that deer wasn't no further than 50 yards from where I shot her.
That deer was graveyard hammer dead right now.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. And I knew she probably didn't go for. That was exactly my thoughts as well. But the things aren't always as they seem.
That's right. Sometimes you think you see one thing, but you really don't see what you think you saw.
But at this point, we felt really good about it. And the tree I had climbed had a horrible place on it. And I wanted to climb down, before it got pitch dark so I could work my way around that bad place. And so I was thinking about, the whole time I was thinking, man, I need to climb down and get around that bad spot before it gets completely dark, because it looks darker on this than probably what it was. It probably looks darker on the camera than it was. But I think you got the crossbow completely loaded, but I think that I can't remember if that deer finally ran off or what the deer did. I never do. I really don't remember. Here I got a brand new bolt laying beside the bolt. All right, so when we got over there, talk about what we found, Tony.
Well, we got over to the spot where we shot the doe, and the arrow on the left, or the bolt on the left, is what we found, which was The knock was laying on the ground, and the bolt was in 3 separate pieces. We found hair. Well, there's some hair, back there at the fletching, and there was some hair on the broadhead also, but there was no blood.
0 blood. That's right. Let's talk a little bit about this right here for a minute. This is where those deer spooked.
Right.
Look at there's 3 deer, one on the far right, one in the middle, and one on the left. The one on the far left was the one that spooked. I didn't realize it till I watched this.
Right. Yeah, I saw that also.
Kicking up, and I have no earthly idea. I know we've talked about this several times, but I just don't have any earthly idea what in the world spooked that deer.
No, and they didn't blow.
Mm-mm.
Or whatever, and of course we didn't see a coyote or anything come running in there.
Mm-mm.
So I don't have a clue.
I don't either. But while we're looking at this, going back to that bolt, I mean, it was broken in 3 pieces. There was no blood, and so we didn't know what had happened. We were pretty doggone confused.
We were puzzled.
To say the least, man. I tell you what.
But in my mind, I knew what I saw.
Oh, me too. And we went back and looked at it just like this right here at your house, and this is what we saw. And once we saw this, we felt real good about it.
Yeah, I mean, even though we found a bolt with no blood and whatever, I mean, your eye tells you that was a perfect shot.
Perfect shot. Don't know how the bolt got broke all to pieces, but then we slowed it down.
Yes.
And as we look at it here in slow motion, it amazed us both.
Yes, very much.
And by that you can see that bolt just hit that deer in the leg joint.
Yeah.
And she evidently, her being already at full alert, because it's amazing how quick she moved right there. Because when that light shows up from that knock, it's in the right spot. It looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
But then watch, bam! It's so amazing that deer could make that move that quick. That's a lucky deer right there.
Yes, it is. And a lot of times, they talk about aiming low on the deer.
Yeah.
Which center of the deer, I held just behind that front leg and just barely low of center. But had I had aimed like at the heart, I believe it still would have hit her leg.
I think it would have too. I don't know that. I think you would have had to probably aimed way to the right because she moved so fast.
Yep. And
we're looking at these arrows again, and at this time when we were looking at those arrows, we didn't know what had happened, but now that we know, then once we knew, we were like, oh my goodness. Of course, we had Tucker out there, and put Tucker on that deer, and he was trailing, and we were, we hadn't seen it in slow motion, so we were expecting to start finding mega blood any minute. We went.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how far we went before we ever found those 3 little drops of blood.
I don't know. Just going by memory, from other times I've been back there, I'd say it was, in a straight line, it was probably maybe 400 yards, something like that.
Yeah,
of course, she was zigzagging.
That's right.
We walked farther than that.
But
that's all we found was those few little drops of blood in one spot.
In one spot. It was raining, so we just kept going, and we tracked and Tucker tracked, and We got into some nasty spots. We got wet. We got nasty. We ended up having to get your wife to come pick us up because we were so far away.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's a beautiful day today, and I wouldn't want to make that walk right now.
You got that right, especially that last 300-400 yards
Yes.
in that pine thicket. My goodness gracious. But that's a hunt I'll never forget. That was, it didn't end up, everything went perfect all the way through. It just didn't end up quite exactly like we had hoped it would.
Exactly. But that's hunting.
That's
and,
it. That's hunting. And,
yeah.
some people may not would consider showing this video on their channel, but that's the kind of stuff we like to show. It's true hunting,
That's right. Well, yeah, that's it. That's the way the hunt went.
Yeah. Exactly.
We don't cherry pick and just pick out,
That's right.
the perfect video.
That's right. Some of our videos don't even have the kill on it, but we'll still show it because that's just the way it all ended up.
That's right. That's right.
But that was a lot of people would have, if we hadn't have videoed that hunt, we might still be scratching our head.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, the whole time I didn't worry because I'm sitting there thinking, well, Tucker's up there at the house,
yeah,
so
that's right.
We're going to find this deer because, matter of fact, I drove my tractor out into the field.
That's exactly right.
And left it running because I knew we was going to find that deer
in a real quick period of time. Is what we thought.
It was like 2.5 hours later, or 3 hours later before I actually got back to my tractor.
That's right. Well, luckily it didn't run out of gas or diesel. So, but yeah, that was a great hunt, man, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And
yes, sir, I did too.
But I'm very glad we had it on video so that we could see what happened. And there could be somebody out there maybe had the same thing happen to them. They really hadn't figured out what it was or how it happened or what happened. Maybe this could help them to to maybe put an idea in their head what might have happened on their hunt. So
yeah, that's right. Because when we walked up there and we found the bolt with no blood, it was confusing feelings because in your mind's eye, we knew that deer was dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yet we wasn't seeing the evidence that deer had been shot. I mean, no blood.
That's right.
We
found a bolt in 3 pieces with the knot out of it and no blood. We was like, goodness gracious, what in the world? But like you said, the look, the way that lighted knot looked when it went into that, it looked like it's just dead slammed that deer.
I guarantee. I guess it's like a magic trick,
Yeah.
That action's quicker than the eye.
That's right. That just goes to show you how quick those deer can move, especially when they're on full alert like she was. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Tony,
I tell you what. I love that crossbow.
Yeah.
That's your crossbow, just so everybody knows it's not mine. That thing is so fast.
It is quick, isn't it?
And, the other deer, I was going to say that 8-point that I shot from what I saw or what I think I saw, that deer never flinched.
Yeah.
But he wasn't alerted at all.
That's right. He was just going through the motion.
Yep.
Now that deer right there, that doe, she was on high alert, and it shows you when that deer's on high alert, buddy. They can move fast.
I tell you, it will definitely make me think about that if the next time I'm encountering a deer that is on full alert.
Yeah, me too. That's for sure. Well, Tony, that's a great hunt. I enjoyed every minute of it, and I hope everybody enjoys the hunt on the video. Hope they enjoyed the video.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed having you come down, and I had a great time. The whole hunt was great. It just didn't end up the way if we was writing the story.
That's right. But sometimes that's just the way it is. So, all right, bud. Well, I guess like to say, if anybody, if you hadn't subscribed to our channel, please do. Leave us some messages in the comments. Hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. Makes us feel good. It keeps us motivated to make these videos. And Tony, I appreciate all your hard work doing videos and making them. And guys,
Yes, sir.
hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the next.
See y'all later.